Hello and welcome back to another episode of From Prison to the Streets. I'm Eric. I did 11 years in prison and I talk about prison stuff. In today's episode, I'm talking about access to music in prison. I talked a little bit before about, our access to guitars and musical instruments, but I haven't really talked about having access to music in general or how we discovered new music. One of my viewers requested this, so I'm doing it. Be sure to like and subscribe. But before we get into it, I want to apologize for my voice. I've been really sick, and so, there's that. I've been coughing and sneezing and all that good stuff. So there's that. As a bonus in this video, I am going to show you my old Prison MP3 player. So, yeah. But let's get into this. When I was in county jail in 2007, we didn't have a lot of access to music at all. We had a TV in the day room, and it had MTV on it and BET and VH1. But most of the time, people didn't want to watch that stuff, so we didn't really listen to it all that often. Some guys would listen to it in the morning sometimes, but other than that, there wasn't a lot of new music. And even then, when that was on, it wasn't new. They played the same shit over and over again, so it was kind of... When I got to prison, after I got my incentive level 2, which was about 8 months after I got to prison, I was allowed to have a radio. And so I ordered an FM radio. It was a small Cleartunes radio. It had a single 5-watt speaker in it. And it didn't really get any stations. It was just a small radio, and prisons are made out of concrete and steel, and it makes it tough to get a station in. In El Dorado, we got like one rock station anyway. It was T95, I believe, out of Wichita. If any of y'all are from Wichita, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe it was T95 out of Wichita. And yeah, they played some stuff, but it was not super heavy stuff. They played stuff from the 80s, 90s, all the way up to today. And I don't know. It's like most radio stations. They played the same stuff over and over again. And it wasn't really hard rock. It was pop rock. Although they did have the mandatory Metallica, which was cool. I like thrash metal. So that was nice. But it was so tough to get a station in. Half the time I didn't even listen to the radio. More than half the time. Most of the time I didn't listen to the radio. I never even used it. But in 2010 or 2011, they introduced MP3 players into the prison system in Kansas, which was really cool. And before they actually brought them into the prisons, they told us that they were going to be coming out with them. So I started saving up money, and as soon as they hit the prisons, I bought one. They came in a 4 gig MP3 player and an 8 gig MP3 player. I bought the 8 gig right off the bat. I thought I was going to be buying music like crazy. And it was around $100. It cost $5.40 for 3 songs, and you had to buy in units of 3. You had to buy 3 songs at a time. And in prison, that's kind of expensive. Now, I had the money. I could have bought, all sorts of music, but I was spending money on college and other stuff, so it wasn't one of my big priorities at the time. But I did buy music. I tried to get 3 new songs a month, and that was kind of cool, There was a kiosk on the yard, and you had to go plug the MP3 player into the kiosk, every 30 days. Otherwise, it would lock up. It had a security timer on it, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. But that was to deter theft, But also, when you went and plugged the MP3 player into the kiosk, there was a catalog on the MP3 player that would update with a bunch of different music that you could choose from. You would take the MP3 player back to your cell, look through the catalog on the MP3 player, select what songs you wanted to download, and then when you bought credits and you plugged your MP3 player into the kiosk, they would download those songs onto your MP3 player. But the thing was, if you didn't know what songs you were looking for, it kind of made it difficult to figure out what songs to download, and discover new music that was decent. Otherwise, you would download a bunch of stuff onto your MP3 player that really wasn't worth a damn. What I did, I had a subscription to Guitar World magazine, and I had a subscription to Revolver magazine. And those magazines will interview different musicians in the rock and metal world, and they will give reviews on music and reviews on albums and stuff like that. And there's a lot of talk about music. And that is how I would discover new music. I would read the articles and see what they were talking about. What, is this guitarist really technical? Is this album really heavy? Is this kind of soft? Is this poor quality? And that's how I would discover new music. I would read about what albums were great, what ones sucked, and then I would search for those albums in the catalog, and I would select songs at random off the catalog, or maybe not at random, maybe they were mentioned in an article. I would select those songs and then go download them. And that's how I discovered new music. Now, later on, I ended up in Lansing, and we got 98.9 The Rock out of Kansas City, which is the best rock station ever. They got Johnny Dare in the morning, and at night they have a show called The Pit, and The Pit is all heavy metal. It's great, and they have new metal on there, not new metal with a U, but like new heavy metal. So if you want to discover stuff, it's really great. So I even got the station in. So I would sit up late at night and I would listen to The Pit, and I would discover new music. After I got off restriction, when I was in the hole, I was allowed to have my MP3 player. And the way that works in the hole is you select what songs you want to download, and then when the unit team comes around, you hand the unit team your MP3 player, and they'll take it out to the kiosk for you, plug it in, and then bring it back. So yeah, that was kind of it. The whole discovery thing revolved around the MP3 player in a way. And so with that, I will now show you guys my Prison MP3 player. Okay, so this is a Prison MP3 player. And up until a few minutes ago, I had the batteries out of it. I took the batteries out shortly after I got out of prison, because this has a built-in security timer. There's a kiosk in the prison that you go to download your music and stuff like that. But also, when you plug this into the kiosk, it resets the security timer. So you have to plug this into the kiosk every 30 days. Otherwise, the device will lock up, and it's meant as a theft deterrent. So if someone steals your device, they can't really, plug it in and use it, which it doesn't really deter people, but it's whatever, because they can still plug it into the kiosk, Anyway, if I can get this to focus, there we go. I'm going to turn this on. Anyway, what I was getting at there, when you take the batteries out, it stops the security timer. So I just put batteries back in it. It's been unplugged for a couple of years, 3 years or more now. But if I turn it on, just hold that play button to turn it on. The Access Corrections logo will pop up there, and my name and number and my security timer. Now there's a menu here. You can go to the music player, the photo album, the FM radio, system, mailbox. Now the mailbox, they never got this approved for Kansas, so it's on the MP3 player, but we could never use it. Basically, people were supposed to be able to send us emails, and then we would go to the kiosk and plug it in. We could download emails and we could respond. So you see, you go to system messages, personal messages, stuff like that. But we could never actually use it because it wasn't approved for Kansas. You could receive photos too. If someone sent you an email with photos and stuff, you could do that. This one's an 8 gigabyte MP3 player, and this one costs about $100 when they first came out, when I bought this one. But we couldn't use the photos either. Of course, you can use the FM radio because it's just a radio. The system, you can change your system settings. You can see how much storage you have. Like, I've only used 766 megabytes out of, 8 gigs. Now you got a file manager, you can delete stuff, all that good stuff. So you have all that, but how we would download music, we would go to the catalog. This had a catalog that would update every time you plugged it into the kiosk. And so you could go to your download manager and see what songs you had set up to download. And you can only download these if you have credits purchased. You could purchase 3 songs for $5.40. So I constantly had a list of songs that I wanted to download. And this stuff is still all on here. To discover new music, you would browse the catalog. So you can search by song, artist, genre. And so a lot of times I would just go to genre and go down to metal. If I can find it. Rock, metal, right there. And then all the bands that are in the catalog, you could search through their stuff. You can also search by artist and song and all that good stuff. But yeah, and then when you have it, you can go over to music player, like it's playing Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. And I can go to my different playlists, so I can check playlist 1. I got a bunch of Acid Bath on there, a bunch of Amon Amarth, some Children of Bodom, a lot of Children of Bodom, some Chimera, Dark Lotus, Deicide, From Hell, Guar, Killswitch Engage, Lamb of God, of course. I got a bunch of stuff on here. Nevermore, Rob Zombie. So, you would go there and, play your music. You can skip your different tracks here. So, kind of a cool little thing. And then your volume button, let's see if I remember. Oh, your volume button's right here. Yeah. So, that's that. Kind of a cool little thing anyway. Yeah. So, there you guys have it. That's my Prison MP3 player. I'm going to shut it off and take the batteries out. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was my Prison MP3 player. That is my rundown on access to music in prison. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Eric. This has been another episode of From Prison to the Streets. I will see you all later. Right, they change. They